This is the story of a Mexican cartel seeking revenge against America's most famous cop, only for him to be shocked when he discovers the true identity of their leader. The film opens with detectives Mike Lowrey and Marcus Burnett racing through the streets of Miami, with a fleet of police cars hot on their trail. They rush to a hospital, making their way to the room where Marcus's daughter, Megan, has just given birth to a baby boy. Marcus's wife, Teresa, and Megan's fiancé, Reggie, are also present, sharing the news that the baby is named after Marcus. Filled with pride, Marcus holds his newborn grandson. Meanwhile, in a Mexican prison, inmate Isabel Aretas chants an incantation that catches the attention of a nearby guard. In a swift move, Isabel grabs a knife from the guard and fatally stabs her. The other inmates quickly join in, but as Isabel is dragged outside, her son, Armando, arrives and aids in slaughtering the remaining guards. Isabel is freed, and she and Armando return to their home to plan their revenge on those responsible for her husband's death, starting with Mike. Armando heads to the docks, where he retrieves a crate filled with money, intending to negotiate with other gangsters. However, the gangsters attempt to double-cross him, taking most of the money for themselves. With swift vengeance, Armando kills them all in a brutal display of power. He offers the surviving men a chance to join his family's operation, and one of them, Lorenzo Rodriguez, known as Zuelo, accepts. Back in Miami, Mike and Marcus's fellow officers, including Captain Howard, gather at a bar to celebrate Marcus becoming a grandfather. During the celebration, they run into Rita, Mike's ex-girlfriend, who has recently been promoted to lieutenant. Rita reveals that she is now leading AMMO, Advanced Miami Metro Operations, a new, younger task force. While Marcus feels their days of high adrenaline escapades are behind them and urges Mike to settle down, Mike disagrees. The two engage in a lighthearted foot race, but as Mike pulls ahead, Armando suddenly appears on a motorcycle and shoots Mike down before escaping. The officers rush to his aid as chaos ensues. Mike is in critical condition, and Marcus prays to God, vowing that if Mike survives, he will never again bring violence into the world. Meanwhile, Rita and Howard assign AMMO, Kelly, Dorn, and Rafe to investigate the identity of Mike's shooter. Isabel, however, scolds her son Armando for attacking Mike so prematurely. She intends for Mike to watch others suffer before he dies, and she proceeds with a plan to murder a judge, a forensic analyst, and a prosecutor in broad daylight. 6 months later, Megan and Reggie tie the knot, and Mike has made a miraculous recovery. At the wedding, Mike delivers a heartfelt speech. Later, he approaches Marcus, asking for his help in finding the shooter, but Marcus refuses, insisting he's retired and doesn't want anyone else to get hurt. When Armando learns that Mike is awake, he uploads body cam footage of himself shooting Mike. He goes to Rita for help, but she too refuses. Determined to find his assailant, Mike takes matters into his own hands. He seeks out Manny, the butcher, a retired criminal, and tortures him by smashing his hand with a hammer until Manny reveals the name Booker Grassi, a man who might have information about the motorcycle's owner, and ultimately, the shooter. Reluctantly, Mike gets Captain Howard's approval to team up with AMMO and pursue Grassi. While Mike clashes with Rafe's cocky attitude, Kelly and Dorn respect his experience as a seasoned detective. The team heads to a warehouse where Grassi is scheduled to make a drop. Mike quickly realizes that Grassi is attempting to double-cross his associates and will end up dead. A violent shootout ensues, and Mike tries to save Grassi, but after fighting off the thugs, an explosion sends Grassi flying, impaling him on a forklift. He dies before Mike can extract any useful information. Marcus receives a call from an informant, Carver Remy, who claims Armando is hunting him down and begs for protection. Marcus reaches out to Mike, but Mike ignores him, still resentful that Marcus chose to retire. Eventually, Mike answers, and the two head to Remy's hotel. Just as they arrive, Remy's body crashes onto Marcus's car. Mike rushes inside, confronts Armando, and after a brutal fight, manages to rip off his mask, only to be shocked by the face he sees. Stunned, Mike hesitates, and Armando escapes. Later, Mike meets Captain Howard at a basketball game, where Howard expresses his genuine care for him. As they leave, a sniper's bullet rips through Howard's throat. Armando and Zuelo are behind the hit. Mike drags Howard to cover, but it's too late. He dies in Mike's arms. At the funeral, Marcus decides he can no longer sit on the sidelines and commits to joining Mike in the hunt for the killer. The pair track down Picante Jenkins, a sleazy broker who might have leads on the shooters. They find him strung out in his motel room, barely coherent. Marcus tries appealing to him, only to get decked in the face. AMMO storms in, having been secretly called by Marcus, and tases Jenkins into submission. From his files, they identify Zuelo and prepare to move in on him. The trail leads to a packed nightclub, where the team corners Zuelo. He bolts, sparking an all-out brawl with his armed crew. Mike and Marcus commandeer a motorcycle and sidecar, with Marcus reluctantly breaking his vow to God as he opens fire with a machine gun to fend off pursuers. The chase spills into the streets, ending when Zuelo tries to climb aboard a helicopter via a dangling ladder. Mike leaps and latches on, but Armando shoots Zuelo off to clear his aim at Mike. Before firing, Armando locks eyes with him and says chillingly, "Hasta el fuego." Mike loses his grip and plunges into the water below. Back at headquarters, Mike asks Dorn to dig into the phrase, "Hasta el fuego." The search confirms his suspicion. Isabel Aretas is the mastermind. Mike confides in Marcus, revealing that before their partnership, he had gone deep undercover in the Aretas cartel. During that time, he had a relationship with Isabel before ultimately betraying her, putting her in prison and getting her husband killed. Hasta el fuego was a private phrase they once coined, meant to symbolize together until the flame burns out. Isabel, obsessed with witchcraft and feared as La Bruja, has spent years grooming Armando for revenge. Mike realizes the devastating truth. Armando is his son. Soon after, Isabel contacts Mike directly, arranging a final confrontation in Mexico City. The team heads south, where Isabel lures them into an abandoned palace. A massive firefight erupts between AMMO and Isabel's mercenaries, showcasing the younger team's skills, both with weapons and, in Dorn's case, surprising hand-to-hand combat. Marcus takes down a sniper chopper, which crashes into the building and ignites a raging fire. Amidst the chaos, Armando faces Mike. Instead of fighting, Mike reaches out to him, confessing the truth of their bond. When Armando presses Isabel for confirmation, she coldly admits it. She then turns her gun on Mike, but Armando steps in, taking a bullet to the shoulder. In that split second, Rita fires, sending Isabel plummeting into the flames below. Marcus nearly falls as well, but Armando helps Mike save him, pulling him to safety. Afterward, the team regroups, their camaraderie stronger than ever. They celebrate as Rita is promoted to captain, while Mike and Marcus share a tender moment with baby Marcus, singing their iconic Bad Boys theme to him. In a final scene before the credits, Mike visits Armando in prison. Rather than condemning him, he offers his son a chance at redemption. Armando, though conflicted, seems open to the possibility.